When you open a browser, it feels like you have the entire world at your fingertips. But what we interact with every day is a highly curated, heavily sanitized fraction of the actual digital ecosystem. We call this familiar layer the surface web. It's the territory occupied by the massive video platforms, social media feeds, and search engines we rely on for our daily digital routines. This orderly surface world only exists because massive corporate infrastructures are constantly cataloging and mapping data. Behind the clean user interfaces is a physical reality of hardware and wires, the production servers that index the information we see. Because our access is entirely mediated by search engines, we've developed a collective blind spot. We assume if a page doesn't show up in a search result, it simply doesn't exist. The boy in our story was an ordinary user, navigating this mapped internet, reading through standard public forums. Then he noticed a subtle anomaly. Right in the middle of a standard forum grid, a single glowing IP address broke the page formatting. This is a misconfigured directory. A server administrator accidentally left a digital doorway ajar, meaning this IP pointed directly into a vertical directory tree of raw files. This single loose thread revealed a crack in the digital map. For a curious mind, that unformatted link offered an irresistible invitation to push the door open and see what lay beyond the search engines. He clicked the exposed IP address, leaving the indexed surface web behind and stepping into the unmapped territory of the deep web. To understand where he ended up, we have to look at search crawler logic. This diagram shows how automated bots map the web by following links from one page to another, but they are programmed to respect specific administrative barriers, bouncing off them and leaving the nodes below unmapped. He didn't use advanced hacking to bypass these limitations. He simply ignored the bot's rules by manually following that unprotected, direct path straight through the barrier. What he found on the other side was a stark, unformatted reality. He was navigating at the database level, clicking through plain text folders and raw files without any graphic interface to guide him. Relying on the assumption that no one will manually guess or stumble upon an unlinked URL is called security by obscurity, and as his descent proved, it is a vulnerable architectural strategy. He finally clicked through the last nested folder. The raw text vanished, and a fully rendered hidden website snapped into focus. He had stumbled into an internal testing sandbox used by developers. It was a private ecosystem meant for experimenting with proprietary tools and databases, requiring total isolation from the public internet to function without interference. Forensically, this site had remained invisible to major tech companies for years, simply because nothing linked to it. The massive search algorithms had no road to follow, so they never knew it was there. The entire barrier protecting this secretive site came down to a single missing line of access control code. That minor oversight exposed the whole operation to anyone with a direct IP connection. On the surface, the internet presents a sanitized front end, much like a corporate reception desk backed by massive automated systems. But the back end he had just accessed was totally unguarded against something those systems couldn't predict. This discovery proves that human curiosity remains the one variable that automated networks cannot fully map. By simply looking where the bots were told to ignore, a single person found what billions of lines of code had missed. Once the site administrators checked their server logs and realized their hidden ecosystem had an external visitor, they acted fast. Within hours, the misconfigured doorway was patched, and the IP address went permanently dark. The doorway was closed, but the event left a lasting mark. He realized that the digital boundaries separating the public web from private infrastructure were fragile, often relying on nothing more than luck and obscurity. Right now, millions of similar unindexed rooms and shadow architectures exist out of sight. They operate in parallel to the websites we use every day, shifting and reconfiguring themselves in the dark. The internet functions as a massive, unstable construction site, filled with forgotten basements, broken locks, and hidden corridors left behind by developers moving too fast. The true architecture of the web will never be completely mapped. There will always be a permanent tension between the builders who create hidden spaces and the human curiosity that seeks them out.